the other. First of all, what is feasibility study? A feasibility study is conducted at the outset of a project to assess its viability. It examines technical, economic, legal, operational, and scheduling aspects to determine if the proposed system is practical and worth pursuing. The study helps in making informed decisions about whether to proceed with the project or abandon it. It is very crucial in any project. Feasibility study, you have to know the economic situation, or you have to understand the legal angle of that project. You have to understand you have to examine the technical aspect of the project. You have to do a detailed feasibility study to know or to decide if that project is worth pursuing, if the project is to be abandoned, or if the project is worth or why what you can proceed with. So a feasibility study is required. So let's look at number 2, which talks about investigating. All right. The investigating stage involves a detailed analysis of the current system. You need to examine the current system, check if what if in the current system, what are the challenges in the current system. All right, it includes gathering requirement, understanding users' needs, studying existing processes, and identifying potential problems or inefficiencies. The goal is to thoroughly comprehend the system intricacies before proceeding to design and development. You need to thoroughly investigate what are the challenges and how you can be able to solve the challenges, the inadequacies of that particular or inefficiencies of that particular of the system. All right, so that is the investigation side. It's also close to the feasibility study, though, but the investigating is quite different from the feasibility study. Now, before you go into the design proper, you need to do a thorough investigation. Let's look at the design. In the design phase, the system architecture is outlined based on the requirements gathered during the investigation. This includes creating data models, process flow diagrams, and user interface designs. The design phase serves as a blueprint for the development team, guiding them in constructing the actual system. This stage is very sacrosanct. It talks about you first of all looking at the user interface, gathering enough information, all right, doing the flow diagrams, all right, and user interface designs. The design phase serves as a blueprint for the development team, so it is very important in any project. Now let's look at the programming. During the programming stages, the actual code for the system is written based on the design specifications. Programmers and developers use programming languages to implement the logic and functionality outlined in the design phase. This stage transforms the conceptual design into a tangible working system. What we are talking about is, let's say, a software project. You have a software project. There are some system analysis that you need to do. That's what we are talking about. All right, don't get confused. We talked about the feasibility study. We also talked about the investigating. We talked about design. After design, you have designed your user interface. You have been able to understand how the program would flow before you start coding. All right, that the coding is the proper stage where the program will come to fruition, where you'll be able to see the project that you are doing. During the programming stage, the actual code for the system is written based on the design specifications, based on the design, the specification of the design stage. That is when you can be able to go for the programming aspect. Programmers and developers use programming languages to implement the logic and functionality outlined in the design phase. All right, so let's look at the implementation stage. The implementation phase involves deploying the system for use in a live environment. This may include installing hardware, software, training users and migrating data from existing system. The primary goal is to transition from development to operational use seamlessly. All right, so after the programming stage, the implementation stage comes in, which implies that you have to do a hardware installation, a software installation, then training users. You have to also consider, after the project you have been, when you are implementing, you have to think of how you can be able to train users and how they can be able to use the software. All right, so that is the implementation stage. Before the implementation stage is proper, there has to be a form of training and installation. So let's look at the next one, which talks about the evaluation stage. The evaluation, let's say evaluation phase. The evaluation phase assesses the system performance and functionality post implementation. It involves testing the system against predefined criteria to ensure that it meets the specific requirements. User feedback is also collected to identify any necessary adjustments or improvement. So there has to be an evaluation phase after the implementation phase. During this phase, the system performance and functionality post implementation, it involves testing the system against predefined criteria to ensure that it meets a specific requirement. User feedback is also collected. You need to collect a feedback from users who uses the system, so that you can be able to know whether the system is solving the problem that it is designed for. It is very necessary to collect feedback. Then let's look at maintenance. Maintenance is sacrosanct in any given project. There has to be a maintenance policy. If not, that project is not going to come to fruition. All right, the maintenance phase is ongoing and involves keeping the system operational and up to date. They include fixing bugs, making enhancements to accommodate changing requirements, and ensuring the system remains compatible with evolving technologies. Maintenance is crucial for the long-term sustainability and effectiveness of the system. So there has to be a form of maintenance. There has to be a form of maintenance so that that system could always be up to date. There could be a backup. There could also be fixing of bugs. There has to be a form of security in place. There has to be a maintenance culture or a maintenance policy so that the system could always meet its required purpose. So that is that about the stages of system development.